See, Jackie? It's
Good
Kristen.
morning. It was Kristen's fault, not mine. Yay!
Well, at some point, we're going to schedule that Fight Club redo. 1 and 2. Guess what we can do, TJ, with our Lincoln episode? We can release it on the 4th of July this year.
Ooh, that'll be fun.
So that's all I'll do. All right. Anything before we get moving?
I should give a caveat that I preached this morning.
Yeah, you did.
So, like a fool, I didn't just say, no, I can't do two things in one day. So I'm here. I'm engaged. I'm going to do the best I can, but just in case my energy is. And that's why I'm wearing a real shirt as well, which I normally don't do at 9 in the morning.
Glory.
Guys, I don't have a coffee today. I have a medium-sized water compared to Kristen's, but I was girl with martini yesterday. Went to a wedding. I was a girl with 4 martinis, and
Can you
this
do
is filled with
4
emergency.
martinis? I die
Can I
after
do
3.
4
Yeah, but Jeff, we're old.
Can I do 4
Could you never do that many?
I mean,
Like in the past?
not
Also,
constructively.
it's been over a few hours. You know, you're at a wedding, starts at cocktail hour, ends at like
yeah.
12:30,
Good.
ends when your foot falls out of your shoe and you slip and eat shit on your knees.
Guys are funny. All right, let's do this.
Oh, have we been recording?
I just didn't want to forget.
That's wise.
Wisdom is my wheelhouse, as you all know. Always making good judgments. That's Jeff Cook. Hey, friends, this is the morning show. Jackie, Kristen, TJ. I'm Jeff Cook. We're wrapping up our discussion of the centers, our relationship with the centers, and
And thank God.
I just want to say that every minute of this discussion has been amazing.
It's been a delight.
It's fun that even though we're talking about these things from a position of authority, we're learning things. Yeah, it's good.
I was heartened. We are starting with the reading room. We're starting to do a deep dive into Brene Brown's Atlas of the Heart, which, by the way, if you're interested in that, go to aroundthecircle.org, see what we're up to. I had never seen her viral video, which has 25 million views on vulnerability. And it was heartening to me in terms of the way that our conversations work. Not a lot of folks in pop world, social media world, put yourself out there world, go to places of vulnerability that often. But the way that she dialogued about it, or monologued about it, it was a presentation, was just real heartening to me on that front. And so thinking about that and thinking about
Heartening to you, Jeff, because you think we do that? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I think that we don't, I think that that's a real strength of the 4 of us coming to this space, have a little bit less of a protective posture. And that is admirable and creates real discussion. Proud of you guys. We're talking about the head
Go
today.
team.
Well,
doing it.
as we have in the past, we're going to start off with some definitions. And Kristen has been fantastic at setting us up for goodness. And since you're in the head triad already, I bet you got the lowdown.
All I did for this one was to say the main question of the head center. So, am I or things people I need and care about safe? Is like the question. And then, am I or is there enough? So I would say the question of enoughness looms very, very, very large in the head center. And so each type in the head center that leads with the head center is going to have a different posture toward answering the fundamental question. And of course, fear being the primary emotion.
Agreed. I would want to talk about resources there. You guys got thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, that's planning and strategizing and anticipating and all of the like preparation type words. It's all about resources. Do I have enough? Do I have enough support? Do I have enough stuff? Yeah. Do I have enough knowledge? Do I have enough opportunity? It's all about enough.
Yeah.
I think a a lot about that's excellent, Kristen, by the way. I don't think I've ever heard that. Is there enough regarding like all of the types, right? I think we kind of like to stick that one on 5. But that's very true. I think there's a lot to be said about the head center and, options and variables. And, someone said strategy, analysis, mental analysis, the big A word, anxiety, when the feeling of certainty is or could be violated, right? Or certain safety, to use your word, building. And I think Daniel Siegel. Daniel. His some of his verbiage is around building and modifying variables, like that their constant work is building and modifying their variables.
I think also I do like certainty over security personally.
Yeah.
So this is also the triad that's fundamentally contacting uncertainty, but trying not to. Like finding a way to avoid the fact of uncertainty, I think, is also what's really going on in this space.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about the heart center doing the same thing with shit. It's all a workaround. A desired image is a workaround around shame, right? And so that makes sense. Yeah.
And we're like, it can't be true that life is this uncertain. Like that can't be the case.
I got some news for you.
Ugh.
Are you sitting down?
The other thing I have here is 5 goes in to answer the question. Is there enough? Do I have enough? Mm-hmm. So they have that place to go and kind of wrestle with the question. 7, of course, is like, yeah, there's enough. It's out here. Let's go out, out, out. And then 6 does both and neither. That's why it's so tricky in the middle there, because we can't find it inside. We can't find it outside. It being enough or whatever.
Like that you only had one thing and it was like very brilliant. Thank you.
just the one.
How movement works with these, it ends up being interesting that where your attention goes. What we ended up wrestling with 5s and 7s with the Siegel book was that the 7s are actually fleeing away from something within and 5s are fleeing away from something from without. How you characterize that can be really important for like how some of the triads function. But I would assume, just to recharacterize 6s, and I would love your thoughts on this, it seems like that dyadic move of there's a problem out there, there's also a problem within, and that creates the troubles for 6s. I've wanted to say that 6s detach from the head at that moment. There's trouble without, there's trouble within. So I'm going to go over to the heart. Does that resonate for you? Or I suppose we've talked about this before, but go ahead.
We've talked about this ad nauseum, and it's not a detachment. It's like a bringing in, because I want to get that question answered externally. Mm-hmm. So yes and no. It's not a full detachment, because my head is always deciding and thinking about and churning on whatever the external input is.
This would be helpful. You've you've teed it up. You have something externally and internally that you feel or think is a problem. What does satisfaction look like for you?
It feels too broad of a question, but like, if I have a really good meeting of the minds, for instance, that feels so good. A discussion where it's like, we got somewhere. We're kind of on the same page. We've done something. That feels very, very, very satisfying. Lots of things are satisfying to me. Like expertise is a particular, like, it just feels so satisfying to me. Excellence, just things done really well. All these things are very, very, very satisfying.
Your own,
and it feels like this warm wash across my chest is how it feels.
Your own or other is excellence.
oh, well, mine is the most satisfying, but I'll contact it the most easily through others.
So I wanted to
Things
say you
like
pushed into other folks and you said no, but meeting of the minds is about other people, yeah. And expertise is about other people. And you're looking for excellence and seeing it in other folks. Am I not wrong in saying there is obviously the mental
I
side there,
just
but
don't agree that it's a full push into. It's like
Yeah.
it's like both. I mean, I just
The
don't
collaboration.
fundamentally agree that like the mind and the feeling center are ever working separately for me, ever.
Bang.
So I can't, that like detaching and going is just not resonant for me.
Yeah.
In a similar way, we talked
a
about with
roping in.
nines. Yeah, like, because I to suggest that I process with the head instead of information from my body as a 9. Like it's a similar thing. It's not necessarily a detachment from my body. It's that like there's just this other step that happens that's not part of any kind of intention and it's just present at all times.
Yeah.
Well, that's actually not. I'm actually moving you off of the head. Talk about the 6s and your like primary relationship with your head center.
Well, unlike usual, I wrote something for this. I did some preparation.
A treat.
I feel like just recently you specifically said you
Last
don't
time we
prepare and you
talked.
never will.
Well, I lied. Okay. Nothing
we
if
trust
not
anything that
inconsistent.
you
How can
say?
you trust me?
You little rebel, you. I like it.
Here's all I said, okay? So the meaning making is so fast. And I think this is true for humans. I think humans are meaning makers. But something that I notice for myself is it's just so fast that an entire story can spin up in my head about now, about the past, about the future. Like it's just fast, fast, fast. The other thing that I said is there's a few different modes. So there's the automatic. If I just leave my brain unattended, I'm probably thinking about something that could happen in the future. That is not good. So that's like the automatic unattended mode. I never leave myself there because that is a horrible place to live. But that is the automatic mode. So seeing potential future problems, thinking of solutions to them, trying to find someone to like see the problem with me, blah, 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 blah. I do that, but I don't just leave myself there because it's terrible. Another mode that I have is like taking in information. That's not my favorite, but this is my second favorite. It's just delightful. Freaking love insight. I love just taking in information. So fun. Then I have this was the other thing I really wanted to say. The third mode is the productive thinking mode. Okay, this is the least easy and it's the most satisfying. And if you don't know that you're not doing it, you can't do it. And once you learn how to do it, you just do it. It's the way to live as a 6. But what gets in the way of that? So when something does happen, because there's a lot of future projection, but in the world, as we're engaging in the world, when something does happen, that I don't like, the automatic meaning making is so fast and so intense. And this tends to be others oriented. So there's a lot of how could they? They shouldn't have, right? They don't know. There's a lot about other people, lots of expectations of other people, how they should be, how they shouldn't be, how I'm not appreciated. There's a lot of that. And so that is where I think the reactivity really shows up, is in the present moment. Okay, how was that?
Excellent.
Wonderful.
That's my little prep page.
Jackie, you hear anything about the head there that resonates with you?
Yes, that if you leave your thoughts unattended for too long, you start making shit up. Because anyway, no, I that's me in my head center. I thought that was. Can you, Kristen, if you don't mind, could you give an example of like productive thinking or unproductive thinking, or for example, like it doesn't have to be personal. You could, I'm thinking about, for example, like this productive thinking being this muscle that you could it's just the way to do it, but like it doesn't always start there, right? And so
no, it never
can
starts
it
there.
Can it be made so? Yeah. Anyway, I'm talking too much. Please go ahead.
It never starts there. The automatic thinking, right? This is where you consider fear as the dominant emotion, and this question of, is everybody okay, and will they stay okay? Will they be okay? Is there enough? And then this, the fixation of, I probably can't handle what's coming. So that's all the automatic stuff. And that's going to be the dominant thought pattern. It's going to be thinking about myself and my people in the world. And are we okay? Are we not okay? Is there enough? Blah, blah, blah. So productive thinking is entirely different. It's like, that's when I get to decide what I want to think about something, what I want to believe about something, when I'm choosing the thoughts that I'm going to bring to my life, when I just make decisions without needing to consult people or have external validation that it's the right decision. So it's an entirely different mode. One is on purpose, one is just the water I swim in.
One is on
And
purpose.
it's extremely difficult for sixes to acknowledge that the water they swim in is unproductive because it's so busy and feels, again, to the cementness to the emotional center, right? It feels so real and true.
Do you know what it feels like to have mental traction?
Sure. I guess I don't know what you mean.
I thought through this well, and my thoughts are something that feels stout and something I can build on. That doesn't have to happen all the time, but sometimes.
I mean, I think you'll get that when a six is defending their position on something. Like if someone's like, oh, you shouldn't worry about that, or that's blah, 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 that will trigger a strong defense of my thought process.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to necessarily just do that in my own. I might try to like if I need to do something, I might try to, I would just never talk to myself that particular way. But I might defend myself that way.
Sure. Do you know what it feels like for something to ping for you as really true?
Yeah, but it doesn't ping in my head.
Ooh, where's it ping?
Body.
That makes sense.
Here or here. Something.
Yeah.
It'll just, yeah. Oh, yeah. Things ping for me all the time.
But it's intuitive.
Mm-hmm.
TJ?
I've been thinking a lot about, while you've been talking, I've been thinking about chaining. And we've talked about chaining, and particularly with sixes, we all have a opportunity to be mental chainers. We can see it really easily in sixes. And I think about, like, there is part of that that automatic space that, like, this is where chaining lives. And it's this idea that in planning for the future, this event is going to lead to this event, which is going to lead to this event, which is going to lead to this event. And now I'm preparing for something that is 9 steps removed and probably never going to happen. But the six can trace the chain all the way to it. And there's like, in the desire to keep us alive and fulfill our evolutionary need to like protect us and everything, there's a lot of good that can be done there. And what you're talking about, it's like there is an opportunity to sort of arrest that chain and move it into more productive thinking.
Mm-hmm. Which I will say means there has to be an acceptance of the thing that you're worried about happening actually could happen. You have to make peace with the thing maybe
With the
actually
possibility.
happening. And that's
Yeah.
a pretty tough deal.
Yeah.
Because every bad thing, this is the thing that really pisses sixes off. Every bad thing that we worry about happening has happened. So even TJ, you saying like that thing that probably won't happen, I felt something. Because you might be right. We're not even talking about a thing. We're not even talking about a particular thing. But I'm like, hold on. But that's what it is. It's like every single thing we worry about has in fact occurred. So people to just be like, how silly is just hard.
Yeah.
If sixes are worried about gravity being turned off, that's not a thing.
That's not a thing.
Right.
That's not a thing.
That's a different conversation.
Yeah.
But
We've taken in real world stuff and used that. So that's why it's really, really hard and why it can feel really insulting, because we're not actually making up things that don't happen.
And why it's antithetical to the health of the relationships that we have with sixes to tell them to stop worrying.
I mean, if there's one thing to take, but everyone should already know that. That's absurd.
Let's hope.
Just in terms of like how brains work, don't tell someone to not do what they're doing. That's
right.
Maturing 101. Don't do that.
I think one of the things that sixes, I do this with the sixes that I work with when we're having conversations, is like the interesting conversation about what's possible versus what's probable, you know? And so, because to Kristen's point, so much is sixes are not concerned that one of the Jonas Brothers is gonna fall out of the sky and into their lap. Like, these aren't like random things. Please, these aren't like random things
I was like,
that.
Please no.
But kind of splitting the line between something that is possible, because it is, versus something that is probable, might be a form of productive thinking. And so like if you're able to sort of parse that through, make a decision to parse that through. Does that sound fair? Like to be able to split the line between possible, probable?
A good tool is, what's the worst case scenario? Because a lot of people don't want to go there.
Right.
Which is lame. Like, go there. What's the
sort of
worst case scenario? What's the best case scenario? What's the most likely scenario? Do you have the resources to deal with the most likely scenario? Okay, six is pretty like, oh yeah, probably. Okay, and then you're very much in a productive thinking type of space. But there's been no discounting or no dismissing, which is just,
You're responding to what's going on by providing yourself the opportunity to see the facts and be here. Yeah, I think that's beautiful. Well said.
Well, and acknowledging that the thing could happen. I mean, one of the things that's just so frustrating about being a six is people acting like bad things don't happen. It's just so...
Yeah.
It's like, look around, okay?
Well, just stop, okay?
Bad things happen all the time. Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
Jackie pitched an idea a little while ago that stuck with me. That our passion, traditional list of sins, is a response to our underlying feeling. The doubt that characterizes sixes is there. I'm real interested in how we push into our wings at some of these points, especially the types that are in the center. Do you ever experience, as a solution to your anxiety, pushing into either a greed-like hoarding or into a gluttonous posture?
I mean, I do both of those very readily and easily. I mean, literally, I take in more information than most anyone I know. And then I'm totally gluttonous about stuff. And I've had all kinds of addiction issues in the past. And I'm self-pres last also, so I can cut things off a lot sooner than a lot of sixes that I know and work with. So like me personally and my people are very different things too. Whereas other sixes, it's like themselves first and a more like actual physical resource thing. So instinct plays a lot, of course.
Yeah. I think that's
I think of type as the tension between the wings. So when I think of 6, I'm thinking of those two things all the time. Like the tension between, and it's what a tension, right? The tension between like going in and the go, go, go. I mean, 6s can be a lot of fun. And if they feel safe at all with the person they're with, like I'm up for whatever if I trust the person in charge. I pretty much have no, like I would follow my husband to the ends of the earth because he's so, so, so safe and reliable. I'll just like turn off my brain. It's like a delight.
Just
so
curious,
great.
how long did it take to get to that place?
With him?
Yep.
Oh. I don't know, we've been together a really long time. And our kids aren't little anymore. So
Yeah.
5 minutes ago. No, pretty recent. Pretty recent.
Yeah, I think that is a really important note. It takes 6s a long time to build up that bank where
But
they
I will
can say,
But TJ, I trusted him. I mean, that's part of the reason I married him, is I felt so safe with him from the beginning. So things that changed, like when we added kids, like I was all in as
Right.
his little, I would tuck under him. And then we had kids.
yeah,
That changed everything. And now we've done a lot of intentional work. So it's back. So I actually really quickly, because I also, there's the side of 6 that we don't talk about, which is the naive, over trusting side. Nobody talks about that.
sure.
I don't know why. It's not the stereotype.
I also it feels like it's the insulting part that I don't want to say out loud sometimes.
We've talked quite a bit about 6s positioning themselves as seconds to a power figure. TJ and I speak about that quite a bit. I don't know if that's worth talking about in terms of the head center. Does that come? I assume that.
Well, it's like a relief, right? It's certainty. So it's the authority piece, which you cannot talk about 6s without talking about authority, and the certainty piece. So give me a trustworthy authority. Ugh, great. But then if you were wrong about them or they do something, until you've done your work as a 6 and can see people as like whole people, that's a mess. But yeah, I think that's it.
That's fair. Bang.
And it certainly doesn't help that there are so many authorities that are not trustworthy.
It doesn't
So
help
many.
at all.
Does not
But the real problem is the 6 subverting their own authority to other people. Like that's really a problem.
One of my favorite things from the study we just did on personality and wholeness in therapy, the author is a 6, Dr. Daniel Siegel, Harvard grad, PhD from Harvard, one of the top neuroscientists in the world. He could not title his book just with him as the author. He had to be part of a community, and he elevated a handful of other co-writers. It doesn't appear that they did much. That's just, I read the book and I was just like, this feels all like you, but he needed to feel like he was part of a community in putting this book forward, which I thought was interesting. Anyway, any last words on 5, 6s, 7s and those who are relating to the head center as their dominant center?
How do you all think of 7s and the fear piece? I feel like with 5s, you can just see it more, like they're afraid of, contacting the world, so they go inside. Do we think 7s are aware of their own fear? We also didn't talk about this part at all, being aware of fear. Because I don't see 7s as getting it.
I think fear is one of the things that 7s are running away from.
Well, I think it's the thing they're running away from. But do they know that at all? No.
Not without work.
Yeah, I agree.
Even a lot of the opportunities that 7s keep open is because of their fear, but they think it's because of the opportunity that they want, because they've already reframed it.
And they're not looking at their fear to solve for their fear, by the way. They're trying
Fear's
to
over
solve
there.
for
Let's go over
other.
here.
And it's funny because I find that like they're so keenly aware of it, but they also miss it completely because they're solving for like the first possible boredom, right? So I think they know they're solving for something. They know there's something, but I think they miss, what is it? They miss the forest through the trees, or they miss the trees through the forest, whatever the phrase is.
Yeah.
So Kristen, you're very, very self-literate. It's very clear that you do think about what you're thinking about. Like you're saying, you know, as you said, you're not just saying it. Like you're very, very self-literate. I would
never leave my brain unattended. Ever. I just don't do it.
Because it can't be trusted.
No, it's just that it's miserable. It's really sad to be left in a sick brain without doing a lot of work.
Yeah.
Quote the McLuhan a bunch on this recently that we don't know who discovered water, but we know it wasn't a fish. That strikes me as very true of sevens and anxiety, that they just swim in that water and are not aware of the water. To start with, I mean, at some point, you do. I think a lot of sevens, when they are older, come to the realization. I didn't realize that the primary fuel for all of this was anxiety, but that's how I would see that.
So I think one thing that's really interesting too, and sometimes why we may not see it, like I think because we can if we stare long enough, but for the most part, one of the things that we don't talk about a lot is like it's almost 9-ish or 5-ish, excuse me, but like they will escape to another place like in their mind. Like there are some sevens that will like legitimately just embellish everything around them. Like they don't have to go on a trip. They're not whatever. They're just embellishing quite literally everything in front of them to make it I mean, again, I think it's solving for that very, very first thing, to not make contact with the rest of the water, the rest of the ocean.
Yeah, this is why one of the reasons that a lot of sevens will talk about how the planning or the anticipation of an event is way more fun for them than the actual event.
Because then they're on to the next, when they're at the thing.
Because the enjoyment is in the mind.
Yeah,
The enjoyment.
It can be anything you want it to be.
Which I have great access to. This is the other reason I'm like, think on purpose, because I love being in my head when it's a good time. It's great. Like I have the best ideas about everything.
Any word on 5 before we transition to other types and center their relationship to the head center?
I think 5 is very aware of their anxiety and the things that they're afraid of, and I don't necessarily think they make contact with all of the feelings that are around it. There's a lot of diverting into sort of solving for that, but I think they're very, very aware
because
of
they're
it.
being intruded on, right? They're always having like, if there's anyone in their life, if there's any expectations, there's always
being
this
thrust upon them. Yeah,
someone wants more from them than they want to give.
My experience of my 5 child is that they don't have sometimes they have a difficult time having a healthy relationship with their body, but they absolutely have a healthy relationship with their fear and can name it, diagnose it, talk about solutions at high levels. There are some things that can occasionally become emotionally overwhelming. They allow that to hit their emotions, and then they shift into a gear of solution making as best they can on that front. It's real interesting to me. But 5s, it seems to me, of the 5, 6, 7s, seem to see their anxiety and fear with something like practical solutions in mind that they can embrace. I don't know if that's correct.
Then do they do the things?
Yeah.
Or do they just think about the things?
I think they think about what the solution is, and probably when engaging their body, it becomes, I need to accumulate that solution. Is the solution...
Can you give an example?
Yeah. My kid thinks that friends are going to be a primary way that he's safe in the future. And so getting into his body means actually investing in people who he sees as worthy and interesting. And he thinks that's the solution to his future fears. He
Very relatable.
He comes from a fairly privileged space, and so the monetary side hasn't hit him yet. But I see it in a lot of fives. I mean, it's just, look, I just need to win the capitalism game. And a lot of fives are very, very good at that.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a buddy whose dad is a five, and he's an accountant and does quite well. Doesn't work a whole lot. Knows how the game is played. Bang. All right. Hey, Jackie.
Yes.
As opposed to, well, both you and Kristen, your repressor, the center you come to last is your head, but you're taking in the world through your heart first. You want to talk about your relationship with your head center?
She's like, yeah.
I do. I have a lot to say, as per usual. You guys picked a wordy personality hire. So
by design.
Worth it.
Okay. I feel I'm a very smart person. By school, by metrics, I am brainy and intellectual, and I love to read. Like, I unhook my jaw and I actually read sideways. Like, I read fast, I read sideways. I'm doing a lot with my brain a lot of the time. Okay. Which is very different than, I think, like the head center stuff. Right. So, because I feel like I'm always thinking. I am always thinking about the thing that's literally right in front of me. Or I am making stuff up about my relationships. And there is no in between, right? So, like, it's interesting because I can, quote unquote, like, think productively about the work that I'm doing. I know that when I make a sale, I have to do X and Y and Z, and then there's taxes, and then but that's all procedure that I learned from not being able to strategize and being like, oh, okay, I have to learn from this, but I can do that. My head is always just making stuff up about where that's the background stuff that's always happening. Always, like the unattended, I guess, like water or whatever, where I stand with this person, thinking about them, thinking about what they're thinking about me, thinking about their feelings, thinking about if I've done something do I need to respond to something about their feelings? And what's really, really hard is I can have cold, hard data about a relationship in front of my hands. And if it pops what I feel in my heart, I don't actually know where to slot that data. I don't know what to do with it. Like, I truly don't. And it's funny, I work with this with other twos, makes me feel less crazy. Where, let's say we want a relationship in our lives so bad that we don't even know what to do with data and things like that. Right. So I think unproductive thinking is such a funny, it's hard for me to even describe, because I also feel like it's the thing that makes me have to elect, I don't know, every 5 minutes to try to be self-aware, self-reflective, think about what I'm thinking about, right? Like, it is really, really, really hard. I feel like out of breath all the time by trying to be a person that thinks productively. But meanwhile, I don't know, I'm always, like Kristen said, I'm always taking in information. I love to take information. I love to have a conversation. Like, in those moments, I feel like my brain's off. I'm not even using my, anyway. What else? Anything else?
The thing that I'm hearing is just how present oriented your thinking is, where
I am always right here.
Yeah.
I am always right. Even if, like any type of thing that's like planning, strategy, like it has to have happened to me, and I like so devastatingly don't want it to happen again, or like has devastated somebody else for me to like actually incorporate it regularly into like. It's crazy because like the most common phrase that I heard as a child was, "What were you thinking?" And like, I wasn't, guys. What were you thinking? And
children are thinking. That's not fair.
Peer pressure.
Yeah. Like, but they told me to. I was supposed to drop off that bridge. Like, I really respond to here and now. Forward thinking is an effort. And to be honest, like, I still really miss a lot. Like, I'm married to a 7. Mr. Jackie's a 7, and like the way that like it only sort of looks like I'm like, okay, like look at this entire human anatomy that I made, and he's like, it's a really wonderful skeleton, and then like provides like the skin and the organs and the nerves and all this stuff and I'm like, okay, I did my best, whatever. So yeah, I'm very here and now, and it's almost like nothing else exists except what can respond to me. Like, that's it. And other than that, I'm just thinking, and I hate to be so stereotypical, but like, I'm always thinking about my relationships. I love my people. I'm always thinking about them. Like, the heck?
Well,
You're not thinking about people 24/7?
That's where you're getting your motive fulfilled.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like that, like the information we talked about, the resources that we talk about when we talk about the head center, like for you, the resources are relational, period.
Yeah.
Like it's the information is relational. The purpose of the information is relational. It's the way that you handle it. It's all relational. It's the point of all of it is relational, and it takes real intentional effort to get to the place where it's information for information's sake, not for your relationships.
If it's not explicitly practical, right? If it's not about explicit safety, like put your seatbelt on or don't get in that van with that weirdo, like it just doesn't occur to me. If it's not relationships and if it's not here and now, right? Like I even have to do sort of a getting into like when I'm transitioning into like my morning into like starting work, I sort of have to get in because that's all. It can be hard, even though like Jews are very, very successful. They're very hard workers. They're really good at like all kinds of different jobs, right? But like that use your brain, that use all kinds of. Anyway, that's all I got.
Jackie, if you knew for a fact that you had people in your life that loved you, is there anything that's going to go wrong in the next year?
No. What are you talking about? Because, like, look. Everything is one of two things. It is either a fact and you have to deal with it, a fact of life, or you can figure it out in some way, shape, or form. I don't feel like I can do either of those things without love. Mm-hmm. And I don't care which one I have to do. I care if I have to do it without love. What the heck? Nothing would ever go wrong if I had my people had me.
Well, and I was also thinking about like I don't remember the second example that you gave, but like putting on a seatbelt. If you had relational information that told you that it would harm a relationship if you put on a seatbelt that day, would you put on your seatbelt?
Good question. That's a good question.
Can you give it like, because that sounds like.
So like the actual data says you need to be safe and wear a seatbelt.
Right.
But your best friend says it hurts my feelings when you wear a seatbelt in my car.
Okay, we're not
it seem like you don't trust my driving.
So we're not like doormatty in that way, or like we're not like stupid. But like I'm trying to, I can get the like the gist of what you're saying, and I'm trying to think of a real life example of me not doing something that like I need to do, me doing something that actually puts me in a dangerous position, not because it hurts someone's feelings, but like
right.
Because I feel like it's going to truly impact the relationship. Yes.
Yeah.
100%. Like what's, a question you can ask a sexual too. What's the most dangerous thing you've done for a new relationship? Ask one. Like there's a, yeah. Yeah. Yup. We're done.
Hey, Jackie, what's the most dangerous thing you've ever done for a new relationship?
I will say there is some thinking and productive thinking for some reason, and I would love anyone's thoughts, that seems to come way easier and doesn't have any Swiss cheese holes in it when I'm doing it for other people. And I don't know why, and I don't know how, and I don't know if it's that I'm standing outside of it. Can you give an
example of that? What do you mean?
I have gotten friends to leave basically the same exact relationships I've been in for the same reasons, because I'm like, that's not right. And that's how like we work through I'm missing the same thing that's in front of my face. And I think it has to do with how, and this could be a pride thing actually too, but like just it collides with what's meeting my motive in my heart. Right. So like I don't like that. Maybe that's the answer. It's not like helping Susie cream cheese is not colliding with my motive. She needs to get the fuck out of there. I'm not concerned if she's not going to feel love ever again, because I love the hell out of her and someone's going to love her. I'm not thinking that for me.
To me, it sounds like with sixes, it's always both and. It's not just my safety. It's not just their safety. It's our safety, right? And that's part of that head center. But with twos, it's about
thinking about me.
Our relationship.
Yeah.
It's about this relationship. It's when it is you and the person who is destructive, it's still about the relationship. When it's about someone else who's in a destructive relationship, it's about you and the person who's being harmed. Like, it's about that relationship. So you can apply the logic there because it's about somebody else and you're protecting them.
Exactly.
You can't provide the logic here because it's about the relationship.
Jackie's wishing she hadn't brought her question to our circle.
Yeah. Also, if you have the garbage bag friend who's willing to show up to any apartment you're in with a bunch of garbage bags and move you the hell out, send them a thank you text right now. Okay, bye.
Yeah.
Thing that I see to transition for Jackie's sake, because I love you.
I love you guys too. I love my friends.
There's an outsourcing similar to sixes and similar to ones that can happen with twos. We've talked about this in the past, but I just want to bring it up that twos memorize quotes better than anyone that I've ever seen. And that is an outsourcing at some level. They connect to language at a very high level that's often beautiful and grounding. And having quotes about the world ready at hand just seems like one of those strategies for shoring up thinking that I find actually quite admirable, but it feels like it's because twos lack some of those future tools. This is what's taking place. I'm going to invest, and the other side ends up being that, I think there's an underlying belief. If I invest in people who have different skills than I do, then my future will be okay because I trust. And that feels six-ish to me, but it feels like a similar posture at some level, that by investing in these folks, the places that I know that I'm deficient, they will take care of me if there's a real problem. That's not altogether six-ish.
I don't know about that.
Am I wrong there, Jackie?
I feel like the pride is a little too...
It's not so conscious, right? When I work with twos, I always use the analogy of, slot machines and farming, right? Like when you are doing something for another person, it's like the reward is like a slot machine, right? Like you win some, you lose some, but if you win some, it's big and it's loud and it's immediate and it's there. And it's sort of undeniable. And farming, like when you take care of yourself, it's like farming. It's like you have to, it smells and it takes a long time and it smells like shit and it's sweaty and you have to go back every day and see if something came up, and like very likely nothing did. And like, so to be honest, I don't remember what your question was.
Let me recast this. I feel like twos, much more than sixes, really rely on relational capital. I have invested in you, and I've done so for 12 straight years. And therefore, when things break next week, I have an investment. And I can't see the future, but I do see you, and I know I've invested in you.
It is not, I have to say, like, yes, that is truly what it is, but it doesn't operate like that way. Yeah, no, like, because at the end of the day, I'm quite not, sometimes things fly out of the mouth or out of my hand without, like, it's truly this, it feels like this extension of me. Mm-hmm. And it's not until I am in need or I need, like, it's not until that moment that I feel as though no one came through for me or XYZ that I realize that's the reason something hurts.
Yeah.
Like, like that's the reason that, like, so the imbalance is not, it's not tactical in nature. It's not strategic in nature, because we're not strategic at all. Here and now, when it hurts that nobody shows up for me, that's how I learned what I was doing or what mattered to me, if that makes sense. I will say it's like, very much like sowing seeds though, right? There's social twos, I think, give to get the most, are like the most like literal reciprocal investors, but I think it's still not a tactical, it's not as,
Yeah, it's still the case that most twos, when they hear that they give to get, they're like, no, that's not.
No.
No.
To be honest, like a lot of twos, when they hear like that they need to be needed, it just sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah.
Me too. Like, what do you mean? But then I realize all the stuff.
I don't want to be needy. Am I needy?
I realize all the stuff that I do, and I'm like, I set this up so that it would require me. What did I do?
Interesting.
She wasn't thinking.
Last word.
So wait, I just heard a lot of like, I could think more, but it's so secondary and not the primary import. Like what I just heard through that whole thing is like, yeah, I could think about what I'm thinking. I could, like, it's so not important.
It's
because this other thing that we've been talking about is the thing, the biggest thing. It's the most important thing. That why would I, like, it's almost like you would like waste energy or it would be useless.
I have to convince myself that thinking is part of survival. Like, because it just doesn't feel like it. It doesn't feel like that type of thing. I have to rope it in.
Well, and you'd have to have a reason that, to your point, made sense.
Yeah.
So it's like, I could,
and
but I'm not gonna.
To Kristen's point, right? To Kristen's point, like, it's once you start to try to think productively, right? It has to be this water that you go in. You have to go there on purpose, and like not. It's still like, it just takes me so fucking long, even just to do the.
I just want a boomerang of your head doing that.
I'm activating my bangs. Just kidding. All right, TJ's head.
Oh, Jackie, that was good. That was very vulnerable. Good job.
What I'm hearing consistently is, why do you need future certainty when you have people that love you?
Well, or you can keep
I need to work here.
That love you. Yeah.
I need to work here right here, right now, to, like, we have to love each other right here, right now.
And those are the skills you have as well. Yeah. I mean, that probably comes much easier for you than a lot of other folks.
I think so. I think I could use a little bit more tact there as well. Because, I'm trying to get emotive med, so that doesn't necessarily, I'm not always doing it very cleanly, but yeah, I could use a little bit more tact there.
I think that's valuable. Last word, TJ, on twos before we shift to nines.
We didn't really talk about threes or fours at all. But
we talked about me the whole time. I'm going to throw up.
I think it's totally fine. I think there's a good representation there that, like, the information is relational in nature, and that's true in threes and fours as well. It's relational, image, emotional. That's the information that is valuable currency.
Best Enneagram researcher that I've worked with is Cambry Ross. She's a 4. She comes to the emotional data, but pivots and is able to access that part of her brain that collects, and there's something there.
Fours are really, really, like, they're so much better at thinking and all of the head center stuff than we give them credit for. Like, really.
Do we not give them credit? You mean the stereotypical? What do you mean?
I don't think we give them. I think that we do. I find
I think
specifically
of fours is very heady.
Sure. I think a lot of times we often talk about, like, them being body repressed and then them being so in the feels, and then sort of how far they can go with their thinking and, like, their like, it just I don't think it gets talked about quite at all, so yeah.
What's the difference between the relational analysis of a 2 in the relational analysis of a 4.
I mean, a 4 is assuming disconnection, maybe, when a 2 is assuming connection. Maybe it's a movement thing, right? I mean, 4s withdraw and 2s are all up in your shit. 4s like reinforcing they could never, they can't, blah, 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 blah. 2s are like,
Open up your rib cage and let me in, baby.
I also think that
I feel so resistant to that, by the way. It's so interesting.
I know,
always
I'm
have to,
working on it.
Prep. I always have to prep to be with my 2s. I do.
So keep
I have to be
prepping,
like,
babe.
Just let them. But it's a disconnection for me, which is just interesting. Yeah. We'll talk about that offline, Jack.
Well, I was gonna say I've talked to you about my thing with 6s in the past and stuff. So it's
There's a thing.
There's a thing.
You both reactive. What'd you say, Teach?
I also think that 2s are aware of and concerned about the emotional data out there to the detriment of their own emotional information. And it's opposite for 4s. 4s are interested in the information inside to the detriment of the information out there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bang.
Well said.
Very well said. Yeah.
And then, much like 6s living in between 5 and 7, 3s live in that space in between that, where the information out there is so that I can appease the information on the inside.
I just want to point out that in the beginning of this episode, you said that you were going to like say nothing because you were so tired and stuff, and you are just like,
I know, killing it.
I'm hyped up by
Second
this.
win.
Apparently, it's good. Yeah.
I think 3s can be incredibly strategic, but it is very self-focused. I don't think that 3s have that kaleidoscopic, I need to know all the data. I need to know the data that matters in terms of getting my motive met, but it is very thoughtful. So investing heavily mentally in what will serve their purposes is where I see a lot of that mental. I think the head is very much a support for action for the 3.
mm-hmm.
And that makes sense to me. Mm-hmm. Bang. 9s. Talk about your head, Teach.
I really don't want
He
to. I'm
loves
so
it there.
tired.
All right, we'll skip you.
Okay, thank God. I am always seeking ease.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to do stuff. I don't want to engage my body when I don't have to. And one of the great ways that I figure out ways to not engage my body is by assessing the information and sitting on it until I know what to do with it, or until the universe makes the decisions for me. There is, here at the top of the crown of the Enneagram, we see everyone else more clearly than we see ourselves. 9s. And so from that sort of observational place, like we're taking in all of this intuitive data about the world, but we want to put that data into its place so that we don't have to do the hard work of doing that in the real world. Because the real world is exhausting.
But it's fulfilling your motive at some level there.
Yeah, because if you figure everything out, then you don't have to have fights about it. My partner is a 6. She and I have been together for like 15 years. Oh, God, longer than that, because we've been married for I don't know. I have no idea how long we've been together, but it's been a long time. And we have never had a genuine fight. Like, we've never had like a yelling at each other fight. And that is because I avoid conflict. She doesn't want to break the relationship.
She's also self-protective.
She's self-protective. Like she is.
What the hell do you do? What do you mean?
So
what?
we get to these places where there might be a fight on the horizon.
Okay.
And both of us step back.
I get
both
that.
of us retreat, so she can have her feelings without the vulnerability of exposing her feelings to me. And I can figure out what I actually feel and what I want and like what's the best thing for both of us, blah, blah, blah. Like it is about settling the information so that everything calms down. If everyone
then-
would just take a couple of minutes instead of reacting all the time, we might have less wars.
What do you do with it after? After you guys
Yeah,
take
that was
that?
my question.
You
too.
know, my hope is that I don't have to do anything with it.
They appreciate your honesty. Yes. Mhm.
But truthfully, so when we do have these situations, we have to come together and discuss it. We talk about our feelings. We acknowledge the other person's feelings. We try to make a plan to move forward. That's best case scenario, right?
Yeah.
So it is. I don't think it was born out of a healthy place, but both of us have sort of accidentally slid into this really healthy way of handling our conflicts.
That's so
in that.
relatable. I think that's so real, right? Like it's a real marriage how it works.
Right.
We bring our stuff, and then if we're both willing, we figure it out and get healthier along the way. That's really good.
The don't go to bed angry thing, that's a great thing for some
hate that.
people, but it doesn't really work for a lot of us. The whole idea of that relationships are supposed to have real conflict. It's like maybe not all of them. Maybe sometimes the people, like, it's actually better for the relationship if the two people figure out their own shit before they throw it at each other. So yeah. But
Yeah, that's really good.
for me as a 9, it is, I need to figure out the information before I react to it. And that is about saving my energy, about trying to avoid conflict.
Are you deciding if it's worth it?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Like, I think a lot about like customer service. Online phone customer service is the worst thing that people experience in the whole, like, it's terrible, right? Being on the phone with someone in customer service is awful. It is almost never that person's fault. The person who's answering the phone, who works for a major worldwide corporation, it's not their fault. And so if I get mad at them and take it out on them, it's not fair to them, right? I want to yell at Comcast. I don't want to yell at this poor person who just is doing their job. I want to yell at Comcast, but Comcast isn't a thing I can yell at. So I calm down and I say, this person in front of me doesn't deserve this, and I want to resolve this situation as best I can, and maybe that means that I take the hit.
That's just good humaning.
Sometimes it means that I don't get crap done.
Well, it's allowing you to get your motive resolved. Again, it's if your motive is conflict free, then this is 9s and 1s will both do this. You take the hit for yourself, call it good.
Right.
6s will do it too.
My experience growing up in the house of a 9 is that there is a clear passive aggressive message of what the 9 gives, and there's a clear passive aggressive message of what's untouchable in conflict. There is a space that you can't go, and they've made it real clear. And if you do go there ends up being a posture of the 9 that is it's not uncomfortable, but it's unbreachable. And 9s are good at training those around them very slowly. Of here's the spaces where we do life, and here's the spaces where I take a step back into my space. All of that is about ensuring, that conflict static kind of space. But I bring that up only so far as I like the language of detaching for the 3, 6s, and 9s still. It just allow it to be controversial for a minute, but I do like the idea that the 9 is detaching from their body. Entering that space of your head is controllable, and it's conflict free. And especially if you can start to say, here are the 28 things that we need to think about, that's a strategy for static. You don't necessarily need to move if you're in that space, and you can thin out very fast other people's objections that may feel filled with passion, anxiety, urgency by simply saying, well, let's talk about these 5 or 6 or 8 there's actually 24 things we could probably discuss. And notice how that it diffuses, and that's strategy. I see a lot of strategy in 9s, and the strategy is nearly always toward that end of how do we make things a little bit more even keel. so that we can proceed together in a reasonable, steady manner. Lots to say
I
there,
feel that
think, but-
untouchable thing is body type autonomy.
Yeah.
Like you cannot make body types do anything.
Yeah. Yeah, the stubbornness that characterizes
Nines have
all
a
of them.
way,
Yeah.
but ones and eights, absolutely. It just looks super different.
Yeah. Ours is a withdrawal.
Withdrawal and appease. Yeah.
Yeah, how they eights, nines, and ones wish to establish agency, or even better, autonomy.
And I don't even think it's a wish. It's just the way. It's just, I mean, that's body, right?
Yeah, it's
It's
a
like,
primary.
it's just the way it occurs.
Yeah.
It's a primary motive.
Yeah. The part of the theme about whether things are automatic or intentional, like that you say the word strategy, and I'm like, that's not a strategy. That's just something I do. Like I don't plan that.
Exactly.
So like there is a sense of like the strategy involved in that. I don't engage from my head. I take in information through my body. I process it with my head, but I don't engage from that place. So there isn't a real intentional strategy. But once I see it, it's like, oh yeah, that's there. I do that. But it's very much intuitive.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Or what would that be? Habitual.
Yeah.
It's a
Yep.
it's an unconscious behavior.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what the automatic, to me, that's what all this is. Like the automatic strategies are all unconscious. We're not trying to do them.
Yeah. Big difference that's going to happen between TJ and I is that TJ's stress move is into his head. My security moves into my head, and that's going to be very different for the two of us. So, nines moving into headspace in stress. What's that about?
Yeah, that's where we get anxiety. That does not exist, because we retreat into our heads so that we don't experience anxiety. Our anxiety is often tied to the things that we might have to do.
I just want to say, TJ, you have done so much to open people's eyes and minds on this exact thing. Because people that I've talked to are like, no, my nine isn't, they're not thinking. And I'm like, they are thinking. They're thinking. So like, you have just really, me and my people, my circle, you've taught us a lot about, and then their nines listen to you and they're like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a six can't imagine retreating and like
sure.
taking in it, because when you go in and take in everything, it resolves urgency. Whereas for a six, it's literally opposite.
Yes.
When I'm taking in every perspective, it's because I have to.
Yes.
So they couldn't fathom, well, I'm doing that and it's peaceful.
Yeah.
So I just want to give you credit for that. It's been really insightful for folks.
Thank you. Happy to help.
I think it's very worth saying that for those of us in relationships with nines, the nine isn't telling you everything. That's why you may not see their thinking.
Exactly.
Here's the thing about going into that headspace. The opinion of the nine is a resource that they are protecting.
Yep. That might
Exactly.
cause conflict.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
What were you going to say?
Well, I was going to say, like, literally, when we decided on this recording, I should have said, no, I'm already doing too much that day. But I didn't, because my position can cause conflict.
Wow.
So, yeah. And I also think it's really important to note that it is not necessarily that we are withholding our opinions or our thoughts or all of the things. It's often that it does not occur to us that you might want to know them.
Wow.
I really want to pile on aggressively right now.
This is a listening and learning moment.
Yes,
Jeff.
yes. None of the people who love nines want to hear your opinions. I'm so glad that you have taken that posture.
So we go with
and internalized
sarcasm.
them.
Yes, good, good.
It doesn't occur to me that you might want to know what I think.
Wow.
To that point though, I have a son he's a 9 or a 6. Now I'm pretty sure he's a 6, but I've always made sure, because I can see his withholding, which 6s will also do. I mean, 6s will absolutely withhold their opinion for this exact reason.
Mm-hmm.
And until someone gives them permission, right? So it's very, very familiar in that way. And I've just always tried to beat the drum of, I want to know what you think. I want to know what you think. I want to know what you think, because I believe this. I know this. That without that external, it'll just stay in there and just have a lot of feelings about that. Jeff, your turn.
Hey, guess what?
Speaking of Jeff's thoughts,
The head space in head center for me is associated with my security move. So this is a place not only of security, my idealism gets infused with some energy there. Future can be glorious because I don't often take much account of what might go wrong in the future. So if I get into my head, it generally has a lot of positivity. It also gives me a lot of stability. I have a belief presently, for at least for me, I'm trying to think through the other numbers on this. My repressed center is super comfortable for me. And Kristen brought up something of this sort in the past about when types get into their repressed center, what emerges. And I've forgotten your specific language, but it was really good. But as it stands, my security, my getting into my repressed center, which is my head, ends up being a place that's deeply stabilizing, quite enjoyable. I associate it with a handful of emotions that are positive for me. Eagerness, curiosity, optimism, astonishment. These are all have a present experience, but they all have a future source. On the flip side, I can have some, I was going through the wheel again, but future emotions that might be considered future focused: insecurity, exposure, inadequacy, insignificance. Those have a future spin, but I experience those if I do it all in my present. And so,
Why do those have a future?
yeah, why
spin?
insecurity specifically?
What?
you're not secure. Something's going to get you tomorrow.
No.
I don't.
Yeah.
You're not.
Sorry,
No.
what I'm hearing is that because when you are thinking about the future and you're going to the future and this, a place of strategy, like it is aligned with your security move, and so it's not always the bad place. And when it is the bad place, it sneaks up on you.
Yeah.
Am I hearing that
That's
sort of correctly?
right.
Okay, no,
And I think
that's valid. That's valid.
I think eights don't feel shame unless they get pushed in the shame pool, and it's real sudden, and then they get really self-condemning for a hot minute, and then they move back to center. Has been my experience of eights. They would be the parallel of ones on this front in terms of the underlying feeling of their security move. As it stands, headspace is incredibly comfortable with me. I've said it a handful of times also, I'm a philosopher. So I think vocationally, I'm really attracted to my security move. I think a lot of us are really attracted to our security move, and vocationally. And that's, yeah.
What does day-to-day strategy look like for you? Business and things like that.
Well, I think through the future through systems. So spreadsheets are my wheelhouse because it's very, I can do a lot of verbal processing onto the spreadsheet. And if like something hits me suddenly, as this is intuitively true about the future, getting it on paper that is systematized is the way that I'm seeking to get control. The only way I can get control of the future is in that space through, like tools.
When you
there's a sense of so 2 6s and 1s are all in this thinking repressed place, reactive types. There is a similar kind of like outsourcing of the thinking. I think that 2s and 6s do a lot of it relationally, and I think that here in the space for 1s, the outsourcing is actually to the systems.
Mm-hmm.
I will have done all of this work already so that when it comes up, I don't have to do that work because the thinking repressed, right? So it's that the thinking gets sort of outsourced to that foundation of work that has been already done,
Yep.
which is a lot about autonomy.
Yeah. And it's interesting to hear that because, you know, as I said earlier, when I do business things, I sort of have to strategize to think about, I have to make things, programs, automations, whatever, think about things that I don't think about because I won't think about them. But I don't do it from a place of autonomy, right? I do it because I don't want to feel like a dumb idiot person when my business doesn't do well because I made the same mistake twice. But yeah, no, I think that's really interesting. And then when you go into a future space, right, even though it's assessed with your security number, right, you don't always want to take control. I'm assuming, or meet a motive of sorts. But like when you get pushed into the pool, are you always trying to take control of the future, or what you're thinking about?
So in the push-pull illustration is much more about when fear hits me. What ends up happening is then I move quickly out of my head into intuitive responses to the fear. Oh,
Meaning?
American democracy is going to crumble. I will put a post on Facebook. This will solve the problem. That's not thoughtful. That is very much action first, feeling oriented. I need other people to get jazzed about all the things I was feeling anxious about. But it's not an actual solution.
How often do you think about certainty?
I do financially. I do philosophically. The black and white side comes in for me quite a bit, but black and white thinking is very present oriented, as kind of Kristen was saying. You know, I mean, it's like I'm meeting my thoughts about what is right and wrong to do in the present moment, so that like if something were to happen in the future, I would know how to behave. So that I wonder if that's not common among the 1s, 2s, and 6s in terms of having some kind of standards by which they know they're going to act.
These are the rules. These are the boundaries.
Yeah.
When this thing happens, you do this. That's the system is in place. You don't have to think about it.
That's solving future problems at some level. Like, and specifically for me, it's avoiding blame. So if I know what is right and wrong to do, I can always make that primary, execute. Future blame will not be on my table. And if it is the case that I'm breaking somebody else's rules, fuck them. Because I understand what matters. And that's what really is
That's
essential.
Sexual subtype right there, though. Yeah.
Can
But
be.
that's interesting.
I'd be curious. Anyway.
I think that the sexual subtype brings in the sort of the quite a bit more combative nature in that position. Like there's like the black and white thinking that is protective, and then there's a black and white thinking that is combative, that is sort of seeking to impose that thinking onto other people. Or like the Facebook example is great. Like there is a sense of wanting to convert the idiots.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to convert the idiots?
5s don't want.
Yeah,
I'd love it if the idiots liked me.
9s are too tired.
Yeah.
Waste,
a lot of
Man,
idiots.
It's a
what
waste
a
of
waste of
energy.
time. Oh, let's just wait till they die.
There's a big. I mean, the avoidance of blame is a big thing, and blame is future in some sense.
Oh, I have a question though. Who isn't worried about that in this room?
Avoidance of blame.
Yeah. I mean, I would think TJ you could just like vanish away from it. Like it could just like whoosh away.
I mean, if it's not my fault, I don't care if you blame me. I don't want to have a fight about it, but I could care less what you think about me about it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, okay. And Jackie, I assume you wouldn't want to be blamed for anything.
I don't. But I don't think I'm.
Relationally.
Yes, I don't. But I don't think I'm thinking about that preemptively.
But you'll react to it.
But I will react
If
to
someone,
it. Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I've done everything
Yeah.
for you. How dare you?
And that's very 6y as well. Like I've thought of everything for you. Yeah, totally.
Blame is a emotion I associate with relationships. And so it's just to elevate that again, it's a place of uncomfort for me. Sevens, for example, like sevens when blamed generally have that move of pivoting, shifting away, being what's our word, TJ? I've forgotten it. Charming.
Yeah.
They're charming.
Disarming. That's the one I think we want.
So like our strategies for when the herd turns against you and says this is your fault, how do each of the numbers behave? It would be kind of interesting on this front. But for me, for ones, obviously living above blame is a primary for us in terms
Beyond
of
reproach.
Yeah, in terms of that maintains control both of my inner life and of my relationship to the herd, as it were. Head thinking through stuff then for me ends up being in that kind of, that's an energy behind thinking through things morally in particular, and even having more black and white categories is let's just go all in for a minute and just say, look, this is what's right, this is what's wrong, let's just live on the right side, and just completely dismiss the opinions of the herd, which are always messy, non-cognitive. They're what is that? They're often foolish. They're often emotionally bankrupt. They live in that space that is simply good. Easy way to get control over the things that you want to have control over. Anyway, that's where my mind goes.
Interesting.
And a place that lives in the certainty of the work that I have already done.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, I don't need to consider any new information.
Can be, yeah. Last words on the head center.
I don't know if Kristen said it exactly like this, but something to the degree of like thinking about what you're thinking about. I think that's a really helpful place for everybody, right? To be to go into a space where you turn your thinking on purpose and not leave your brain unattended or alone or however I don't remember exactly how Kristen said it, but I think that's a really important thing for everybody, or really valuable for everybody. Yeah.
Because there are 3 centers of intelligence, right? And if we don't bring them into balance, we'll never be in balance.
Right.
This was I'm sure I've said it before, but to summarize all the things, like why think about the head center, heart center, body center. One of the things in a lot of the literature recently is that when you elevate all of your centers, it's not just balance for balance sake. It's actually freedom. You are able to make choices, because so often the worst things that we can do is live in excess in our number. And the only way to escape excess is to give yourself choices through those other types. So if you elevate the other centers, it gives you options, it gives you choices, it gives you freedom. And I realize that's a very body-centric way of going here. But we all know what it's like.
I don't think it is. Freedom also sounds very heady to me.
Oh, does
like
it?
because freedom to think, freedom to choose.
Yeah.
That's where, our non-productive thinkers get tripped up, because we don't have freedom to move in that way. Freedom to relate in a way that makes sense to us, isn't compulsive. Freedom to move forward in the world as we want to. Yeah, totally.
And yeah, we've said unconscious or automatic or some other version of that over and over again in this. And like that's kind of the whole thing about the Enneagram. It's not putting you in a box, it's showing you the box you're already in. And if you want to get out of that box, you got to do something about it. And part of that, one of the main things that you have to do is start to recognize that maybe the thing that you're thinking about is actually your feelings. And you need to recognize that. And that's okay. But now you can do something about it.
Correct.
Well said, TJ. Good job, everybody.
Hey, if you're going to want to think more about your feelings, by the way, we're going to start a book group on Brene Brown's The Atlas of the Heart starting June 9th. Please go to aroundthecircle.org and join us. That's what I got. You got anything, Jackie?
No, No, that was it. I think I love my friends. Yay.
We love you too.
Oh, this was great.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning is right. Y'all have a good week.